Hey everybody, welcome to Geekoholics Anonymous, episode 203. I'm your host Rico, here with my co-host,
Mr. Dane Cody.
Mr. Dane Cody and I get together once a week, talk about video games, TV, movies, and or whatever the hell we like. Welcome everybody to a fabulous episode 203, freshly back from the big Vancouver city. I actually went and saw Dane in IRL.
Oh, come on. Don't act like you came over to see me.
Yes,
you came over to see some other people. I just so happened to be involved in the mix.
Yeah,
nice,
I went over
nice
to
try though. Jeez.
I went over to Van and we went to the Kind of Funny meetup, which was quite fun.
It was good. It was really good to see everybody. Got
to hang out and chat with Greg from Kind of Funny, Greg Miller. For those of you who are unaware who he is, I'm gonna say good friend. You know, from over the years, because clearly he remembers me from when the first time he met me almost 10 years ago and posted photos on Instagram and Twitter.
There you go.
Of that day, which like just blew me away, that he even remembered. And that he even had photos, which is crazy.
Yeah.
We chatted. It was fun and hung out and met some other best friends. That's what they call their army of fans. It was good. It was big, but it wasn't too big. It was a nice size. We chatted with Adam from the dev of Ding Dong XL.
Ding Dong.
He lives in Vancouver. That was awesome chatting with him.
Super cool.
About game development and how things are going with him and his company. And just he gave me some tips because, you know, we were shooting the shit. And I'm like, oh, man, I'd like to make a simple game one day. I've got a bunch of ideas and this and that. And he was just giving me some tips. And it was funny. He's like, just do something simple like I did and have your game design limited by what you're actually capable of doing.
There you go.
And he was telling me some tools and stuff, which was really cool. And then chatted to Gio Corsi was there.
That was super cool. Chatting with Gio was awesome. From
PlayStation. He is
head of developer relations.
Is that third-party developer relations? Is that it?
Yes.
Something like that.
PlayStation, was it like... Yeah, I can't remember the exact title.
I talked to him for quite a while. We had quite the conversation about the Epic Game Store. We chatted about E3. I'm like, I was telling him how a big reason I'm not going is because they're not there. Never mind the fact that I have no vacation time to go. But
it hasn't happened yet. I don't think anybody that listens to this podcast regularly isn't still holding their breath thinking that you're not going to just randomly be like, surprise, by the way, I'm actually going to go now because this unicorn shot out this horseshoe and it got stuck around this other unicorn's like horn, and then they got together and then this rainbow shot across here and Rick's going to E3. So,
well, we can never discount the magic of nonsense that happens in my life. But
yeah, exactly.
It's really looking like I'm not going. So I was chatting with Gio because he's like, I'm going to be working, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I guess you got to go there to go talk to devs and court, exclusives and whatnot. And we were talking about it. I'm like, so that means PSX, right? Like, we're gonna have a PSX, and he's like, he said he doesn't know, but he's like, I hope so. He was quite hopeful, so wow. I don't know. We've said it. They've got to have a PSX.
He's got to keep it close to the chest, even if he did know.
Of course he does. He probably wouldn't. He probably wouldn't know. But he was genuine in that. Like, I hope they have a PSX because he loves that stuff, right?
For sure. Yeah.
So I don't know. They're gonna have a PSX.
Yeah.
Which maybe I'll go to that instead. Who knows? Anyway, it was fun. It was good times. Good peeps.
Yeah,
it was, and then we
met a ton of cool people and made some new friends. And if you're here from that, maybe
thanks
for joining
listeners. Yeah, we introduced ourselves to a bunch of people and let them know about our podcast, which was cool. And hopefully they tuned in. And went and saw Shazam. I hung out with my brother-in-law.
Now you're getting ahead of us here. That's
all right. We'll talk about it in our free-for-all section. So welcome, everyone, if you're new. Usually we start with the BS section, which we are knee deep in this moment. Then we get into what you've been playing, some news and stuff are up. We don't have any public service announcements this week. Free-for-all and our free-for-all section. And house cleaning.
Yes. What? No, I was just going to dive into some house cleaning, but you're getting there. So
last couple episodes have been bad. I forgot to tell people, join our Discord.
Yeah.
bit.ly/gap Discord, GAPDISCORD. Our Discord's fun. We've got a lot more people in there. There's some good conversations in there and goofing around. It's a fun place. Everyone's civil. It's great. We seem to be troll free so far. We haven't had to boot anyone.
I mean, I almost had to lay the smackdown on somebody earlier, but but it sorted itself out, so that was good.
It's definitely quite civil compared to some of the other Discords I'm in.
It's great. We got pretty cool peeps.
And also a reminder about our episode 200 giveaway celebration still going on. Going to announce the winners for last week's contest. We were giving away Red Dead Redemption 2, The Last Guardian, and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. So the winner of Red Dead Redemption 2, while I look at my notes here.
Okay. Drum roll, please.
The winner is Leonam Clark. I think that's how you say it.
All right. Congratulations.
Or Lux Clark, as we read it in the Discord. Sorry, bud.
That's all
you got. The Red Dead Redemption 2. I will reach out to you via email to get your address to send you that.
Howdy, partner. Sorry we couldn't send you a good game.
What? That's an awesome game. Sick bird. It's like the highest rated game on Metacritic right now.
For now. I feel like that's a game that people have, in hindsight, gone and went, it's probably not as good as people thought it was.
The winner of our Pokemon Let's Go Eevee is, they didn't put their real name in. They're going by their handle, Anime Vagabond.
Anime Vagabond. Congratulations.
I have a feeling this is someone that we met at the meetup.
Ooh.
Because I met a bunch of people from Victoria.
Very cool.
So I have a feeling that's...
well, if it's you,
someone I met at the meetup. Yeah, I will reach out to you via email. That's a digital code, so I'll email you that code. And then the winner of Last Guardian is Kevin P. And he's, I believe, a new listener as well.
Very cool. Congratulations, Kevin P.
as well via email to get your address to send that to you. So congrats, guys. It's awesome. And then this will be our last week of giveaways until we come up with something new
and exciting.
Between this week and our next recording, we're going to be giving away Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition, PS4. These are all PlayStation games, so this is the leftovers from the big care package PlayStation sent us.
Yep.
So Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition.
Everybody's
DLCs. Golf. Sorry?
I said it's got all the DLCs.
It's got all the DLCs.
Yep.
No microtransactions.
Sweet.
And then we're going to bundle together the two VR games, The Inpatient and Firewall 0 Hour, because you already have to have a PlayStation VR to win that, so we may as well just bundle them both together.
Fair enough. That makes sense.
So,
should we start right off the bat? Should we start right off the bat with the VR stuff?
No, we'll start with Horizon.
All right.
Or do we want to make people wait for the best for last?
I was going to make
That's what you were thinking?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you have a PlayStation VR, or you know someone who has a PlayStation VR,
yes,
and you want to enter for The Inpatient and Firewall 0 Hour, the password for the entry widget is motion sickness.
Motion sickness. That's a little VR pun.
Yeah, a little on the nose there.
Yeah.
Oh, and the webpage to enter the contest, bit.ly/Geekoholics200.
Sweet.
All the stuff's in the show notes of the podcast, or if you go to our website, Geekoholics.com. So if you don't remember any of these short links or whatnot, links to our Discord, the contest, show notes, past episodes.
It's all there.
It's all there. So, Dane,
let's
get into what you've been playing.
I've been playing the real-life game of being sick.
What you playing?
Which I've been so sick that literally the last 2 days I haven't played any video games. That's how sick I've actually been.
That sucks.
Yeah, it wasn't even the like I'm sick and I don't feel good, but I'm gonna stay home and play video games sick. It was like the I'm gonna like just stay at home and sleep all day and like feel like death.
That's the worst kind of sick.
Yeah.
The best sick is when you're at home and you can play video games and don't have to do anything else.
Exactly. That was not me. It was like sleeping and in and out of consciousness all day yesterday and today, and it's been kind of shitty. That's why we're recording a day later than we normally would because of me.
I forgot to post. No, I posted on Twitter. I didn't post in our Discord. But
yeah, so
I need to be video game sick one of these days.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was not me. So actually, like we were pretty busy on the weekend, so I didn't have a ton of time to play any video games. Yeah, but I have had a chance to play. So last week, we there was the big Steam Golden sale. There was they did the Golden Week sale, and
I completely missed that. Completely missed.
There was a ton of shit that was real cheap. I got a big email from them saying 9 games on your wish list or whatever are on sale right now.
Mention it on the show.
So I actually picked up Dragon Ball FighterZ for $20.
Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Yeah,
$12.
20.
20. Okay.
19.
Where did I hear $12?
I don't know. It was $19.99. So, which is 70% off or whatever it was. So. I was like, that's a pretty sweet deal. And I decided it was hard because there was Tekken was on sale, Dragon Ball FighterZ was on sale. There was a bunch of stuff from kind of my wish list, and I was kind of eeny, meeny, miny, mowing it for a little while. And then I decided that I'd check out Dragon Ball FighterZ. That game's pretty rad. It is
rad. I told you that.
No, I know. Hey man, I've sometimes you get in a mood to play some fighting games, and I've been in a bit of a fighting.
It's one of the coolest fighting games. in a long time.
They do a great job of making it super accessible to people. I mean, obviously, I'm playing it on PC because I picked it up, but I'm playing it with a Xbox One controller, and it plays really well. It looks gorgeous. Right. Everything's obviously cranked
anime
up.
Come to life.
Yeah, and it looks. I would say maybe even better than the actual show does.
It is an impressive technology.
Yeah, it looks rad. It's also fun as hell. The story is stupid as shit, but I mean that's exactly what I want out of a Dragon Ball fighter, out of a Dragon Ball game.
I wouldn't expect anything less.
Yeah, no, I mean all of these fighting game stories are pretty stupid in the best way possible. This one is no different. I haven't gotten super far into it because, like I said, I haven't had a ton of time to dive in. But as of right now, I've definitely played about an hour and a half. So I'm kind of getting past the, playing the story and getting into the, the tutorial and whatnot. They've done a great job of making it accessible to people. You can kind of mash some buttons, get some stuff done. But obviously, if you have the skill and you know what you're doing, you can really rain down fiery death on people, which is pretty rad. I have not played it online because I will just get my ass worked. But yeah, so far that's been a lot of fun, and I look forward to playing more of that. I'll definitely finish through the story, and it's definitely a great game to just jump in and, especially when you have a hankering for some fighting game action. So yeah, that's kind of what I picked up. And then I've actually had a chance to dive into some Monster Hunter World on the Xbox because it was free with Game Pass. And
I meant to download. I haven't. Well, I've been playing Mortal Kombat 11. That's the only thing I've been doing on my Xbox.
Funny. I will talk about. I forgot to write it down. I'm into Mortal Kombat 10 right now.
It's on Game Pass. Right?
Yeah, it was totally on Game Pass, and I downloaded it, and I've started playing the story mode on that. But yeah, Monster Hunter World. I finally actually got into that, did a couple of the hunts. I mean, I'm still super early.
You actually did some hunts as opposed to run around for an hour.
Yeah, oh man, I was a little choked though, I'm not going to lie. So the first time I played it, I ran around for a whole while, did a bunch of stuff, and then I can't remember if I had to go to bed or I had to do something, but I had to turn the game off, so I turned the game off. I came back, and I had to do probably 15 minutes of that again, because it wasn't apparently a quote-unquote save point. And when I saw that initially, I was like, no, come on. They're not actually going to make me oh my god, are you serious? And I almost turned it off right there.
You almost pulled the chute.
I almost was like, fuck this. This is stupid. Like, if you're not going to respect my time at all right off the bat, like, you can fucking die in a dumpster fire.
What weapon are you using?
So I spent probably more time than I care to admit, like, going through all of the different weapons
in the little tutorial
little trainer area there, and jumping and attacking,
which is cool.
I like that a lot. I'm glad they added that in there. I'm using what is it called? It's kind of like one of the guns.
Is it the bow?
No, it's not the bow. There's two sort of guns. One of them is really slow.
Used one of them,
and one of them is a little faster, and it's a little bit more. I don't know what you'd even call it. Apparently it's good for beginners. I was basing it purely off of what felt good to me.
Yeah.
Just the kind of the happy medium between maneuverability and being able to kind of stay at a distance, which, like, I don't know, for whatever reason in a lot of these types of games, and I've found this with Dauntless as well, is like the melee weapons that are really close, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I'm playing it wrong or something. None of them ever feel good to me. Like, I was like trying to use, like, you know, the big sword and like all this kind of stuff, and it's just, I don't know, it's like the creatures you're fighting for the most part are pretty maneuverable, and like they're pretty good at attacking, and you're like this big lumbering character, and you've got this giant sword, and you're like trying to do your thing, and it's just, I don't know, it just doesn't feel good to me. Like, I don't know. So I've been kind of trying to go with some of the more
gun.
There's the heavy bow gun. I think it's the light bow gun. I think is the one that I'm using right now. And I will say, like, it's so far it's pretty good. It's definitely working better for my play style, I think. Kind of keeping it a bit of a distance, get your shots in, you can change your shots. You can have like slicing shots, and you can have the different kind of like poison shots and the various kind of shots like that, which is kind of nice. So you're still kind of getting that variety in there. There's a couple other like things you can kind of do with it, where you can almost like it's like almost like a mine thing that you kind of inject into the ground, which is kind of cool. Yeah, I definitely have not put enough time into it, but I will definitely say it has not got its hooks into me yet at all. One thing I will say,
it takes a little while. I remember it took me a while, and then once it clicked, I'm like, oh, this game's dope. I could
definitely see that. Like right now, I'm definitely kind of bumping into a bit of a. They do a terrible job of not explaining. Like, I think it's the UI. I'm trying to figure out what it is about it, like the way the weapon upgrades and the way like all of that stuff kind of works. I feel like is really clunky. Like you go to the guy and he pulls up this list
immediately,
and you're like looking at these things, and you're like, okay, well my base gun can then be turned into this thing, but if I want to turn it into one of these other ones, then I need another base gun, and once I've kind of like moved it over to this other, like they do a really poor job of that. Like I was looking at armor, and it's like, oh, you can build armor or you can upgrade armor, and you use these shards and it will like upgrade just your armor points, but it won't upgrade your armor. But then you can actually use stuff to like upgrade your armor, but then you can actually like build brand new armor. And it's like this weird thing of like, okay, so like I get you're gonna need like a set of armor that's good against like fire, and a set of armor that's good against, you know, cold, and a set of armor that's good against I'm assuming like shock or lightning or whatever it is, like you know what I mean, for the various things, and then you're probably gonna want to upgrade those, and then like. But yeah, I don't know. They do, and again, like I'm super early, but like they give you a bunch of that kind of off the bat, and I'm like looking through these menus and looking at all this stuff, and I'm going like, I know obviously I'm supposed to make my shit better, but they're doing a real poor job of kind of like laying that out and being like, okay, like this is the stuff you need to do. And then there's the whole like cooking aspect. Like the game is incredibly deep and like that is rad, obviously for multiple reasons, but I think their onboarding is really shitty and not like horrible. It's still better, I think, than I mean, obviously, I can honestly say I haven't played a Monster Hunter game in like years since the original Monster Hunter game. But like they definitely could do a bit better job of kind of explaining a few things, and maybe not bringing all of that stuff in right away. Like maybe holding off on some of it. I don't know. Maybe if like they kind of made you do some more of the story for a bit before it, like they said like, oh yeah, okay, well by the way, now that you've kind of done this. Because they kind of do that a little bit off the bat, right? Like you go on your first hunt and you just kind of go and attack a monster, and they're like, okay, cool. And then you go in and you know, it's a hunt where you think it's pretty straightforward. Like, oh, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to do this thing. And then you do that thing, but then it like spirals into this other thing, and then that spirals into this other thing, and then that's actually the mission is over, and you're like, wow, okay, well that was kind of cool. Like it wasn't, you know, it kind of seems straightforward. And I mean, obviously that's a story mission, so it's a little bit different or whatever. But like I liked how they kind of did that. Like that, I thought that was really well done. But I think maybe they could have done a bit of a better job of the onboarding of the weapons.
Some
stuff.
of the systems are definitely not immediately apparent.
Yeah, totally.
There's so many.
Right.
There's the bounties and then,
oh my gosh, and like some of that stuff is super clunky, and it's just like, well, you have to accept the mission, and then you have to like initiate.
And you can only have so many.
Yeah, and then you have to initiate the mission, and then you're waiting to like on the mission. You can't just like go do the mission. You have to initiate it, and you have to wait, and like it's this weird. And you're just like,
yeah, so it could be use some refinement.
Yeah, and like some of that, I don't know if it's one of those things where there's because all of this stuff has been in the Monster Hunter games for so long that if you're a Monster Hunter player, all that shit, you're just like, oh yeah, that's in there, and it's kind of part of it, and they just accept that it's there. But I imagine that all of that stuff was there due to technology issues, and you know, hey guys, we're rocking PS4s now. Like this is, you know, how much of that doesn't need to be there. That said, I am playing the character that is a little bit more maneuverable, which I appreciate. That part's fun. I love how alive the worlds feel like when you go outside of the main hub. That's one thing. Like I definitely think like Dauntless could take a page out of their book and definitely make because in some
Dauntless,
of their worlds
only the monster you're hunting, right?
They're getting better. They are starting to add like that's all things that they're working on, right? But yeah, like in this, it's definitely like, you know, you get into the world and then you're like you're looking at tracks and you're literally tracking the monster and all this kind of stuff.
Droppings or footprints.
Totally. Or
skid
sheddings. Marks or feathers. Or where it molted or exactly, right?
And then there's all kinds of wildlife and then it's like
and you're gathering a ton of different stuff. So you're in there and you're grabbing this and you're grabbing that and like, you know, I won't lie, I don't know what I'm going to use any of that shit for yet, but I'm just like, oh, stuff. I need to grab all of it. Exactly, because I'm sure at some point I'm going to need it for something.
Smaller monsters that potentially could be the food for the monster you're hunting. And
and then sometimes you'll be hunting a big one and like that food is attacking you as well, which is kind of annoying. And like,
or what you're hunting gets attacked by an even bigger thing.
So yeah, no, like there's definitely it's also a game that is a little bit harder to, I feel like it's a little bit harder to dive into, like because like when I jump into Dauntless, I know that I'm never gonna like, even though there's technically a quote unquote timer on stuff in Dauntless, I've never even come close to. I don't know. I don't think anything
are much more streamlined.
I don't think any of those have taken me more than like 15 minutes or whatever.
Oh no,
to do in like Dauntless.
Minutes.
Whereas that's the thing. Like I had one the other night. I was like, oh, I'll jump in and I'll do a hunt before I go to bed. And here I was like 40 minutes later, you know, and I'm like, fuck, dude, like I gotta go to bed. Like I can't. Like I thought this was gonna be a 20-minute thing, and here we are, almost an hour, and I'm like, fuck, like.
I think that's more due to maybe that this is the first time you hunted that creature, so you don't know its patterns or its areas, or because once you know
for
where
me, it was a thing where like I went in to do one thing, and then it kind of turned into a few other things because it was a story mission, and I kind of didn't know or whatever. But it's definitely made me think like, okay, well now, like if I'm going to play this, I'm probably going to need a bit more time than like an hour.
You need an hour at least.
Right. So like if I have an hour, like it might be kind of tight by the time I go in there, do some shit, and then jump into a mission. But if I have a couple hours, then definitely, good to jump in and do some stuff, right? So we'll see. That definitely will.
It's a cool game, man.
We'll check more of it out. I'm liking it, I think, more. So far, I'm liking it more than I played in the demo. How's that?
It's an awesome game. But it takes a lot of time, and I wish I had more time to go back to it, or I just wish that nothing else came out, and then I could have played it. But now because now I've been playing freaking Days Gone, and that game never freaking ends.
Yeah. Now you know why people were saying that maybe they could have edited down about 20 hours.
I'm not annoyed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm still enjoying the game.
Right.
But the amount of time I put in, I feel like I should have beaten it by now.
Right.
Maybe I'm doing more side stuff than I should, and they must have patched the whole, like, leave the base, get a radio message, like, oh, come back and do another mission for me. Like, I'll be sitting in the area that I'm in now.
Right.
And I've had like 2-3 missions stacked up at a time, and I never noticed that in the earlier patches.
Before.
It only ever seemed like you had maybe one mission, maybe 2.
Right.
And they were like never really active when you just finished another one, whereas this one, the stupid radio chatter has gotten like so annoying because everyone's calling me to do shit, and I'm like, God damn it, leave me alone. And I think I've seen all the freaker types now.
Oh, okay.
And I actually completed the horde hunting mission, which is like 50 hours into the game.
Right, that's the one where they're supposed to that's the kind of the mission that I heard people saying. That's where the mission where like,
you have to take down this horde. Here's some items to do it, and
this is how you kind of take down a horde.
Some tips on how to do it.
Right. So I'm assuming that that's kind of the point where most people thought that's when you can start taking down hordes.
Yeah, I think
that's what it sounds like.
Because in none of the other story missions do they just hordes are death. So unless you actually go after a horde yourself, which no one tells you to or says is a good idea, because it's like hordes are bad, stay away from hordes, you'll certainly die. Right. So you're kind of like told not to mess with hordes, whereas me, I totally did the opposite. After I took down my first one, I'm like, oh, I'm taking them all out as soon as I see one. They're going down, especially knowing how good the rewards are.
Right.
But like the specific mission, it's like, oh, you have a chance against hordes. Just do this, and this.
You just gotta be smart about it and
do
a little bit of planning.
It's like literally, I swear, like 50 hours into the game, whereas this mission should have been in like the first 3 or 4 hours. But I'm still enjoying it. I'm surprised I haven't beaten it. I don't know if I'm close to the end. I got another "you're gonna leave this area" message if I continue on with a certain message.
Right. I mean, I've heard that game seems like it's gonna end several times before it finally ends. Like, that's what I've heard from people. They're like, yeah, I think I'm close, and then no, I wasn't close, I was about halfway, and then I think I'm close. No, I was about 3/4 of the way. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so I think that's where I am. I think I'm at the 3/4 point.
Okay.
But there's been some revelations, some plot stuff's happened that I'm not super in love with.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Stuff went down not the way I would expect it. It's not bad, it's just not what I expected, so...
That's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, not your expectations is...
Yeah, well, that's it. I wanted something to happen, and it did it differently, so I was just disappointed, but I guess
gotcha.
It makes sense for the story they're telling.
Okay, fair enough.
I will keep plugging away. I'll probably beat it in the next week or 2.
Or 3.
And, of course, going to visit you.
Yeah.
I got a lot of Switch time in, traveling. And I played a bunch more SteamWorld Quest. I'm like 8 hours in, plus or minus.
So, okay.
I'm in chapter 5 or 6 now.
How many chapters are there total?
I have no idea.
Oh.
But
I wasn't sure if there was one of those things where it showed you, or you know what I mean?
I was in chapter 2. Yeah, so now I know all this. I don't know all the systems, but I know more of the systems. It's opened up where you can craft cards now with materials.
Oh, okay. Sweet.
Each of your characters has an 8-card deck, which combines together to make your full deck, right?
Yeah.
So you have a 24-card deck.
Okay.
And you can stack each character with 8 cards for each of them.
That makes things a little simpler, I feel like.
Oh, yeah. It's a small deck. And it's really cool because if you construct your deck properly, I kind of explained it a couple of weeks ago how this is a turn-based RPG. Yeah. But instead of just fight, item, magic, and so forth menus, your moves are all dictated by cards. So your cards are attacks, buffs, debuffs, heals, and so forth, right?
Yeah.
And they're specific for each character. You play 3 cards a turn. Your enemies play their cards a turn. Mm-hmm. The really cool mechanic in this game is when you're playing your cards, if you play a full combo of cards that belong to one character, there are different combos. I think I've got my first few cards that are a little different. Right now where I'm at, I play, my knight guys. I can't remember his freaking name right now. The knight character.
Okay.
I play all her cards. 3 of her cards. Then her weapon has like an ability that's triggered by playing a combo of, all her cards played that hand. So then you get like a 4th turn.
Okay.
Or a 4th move, and it's an ability triggered. It's associated with whatever weapon you have equipped. Mm-hmm. So it's either attack, a heal, a big buff, but you can only ever play that ability when you play a combo. So it gets fun in that you play a combo, you get these bonus big free attacks or buffs or heals or whatever, right? Depending on the character.
Yeah.
And then, because as you've played those, then your next hand, you draw cards, and then it's like, you get into a rhythm of like, oh, I got another combo for one of my other characters, and it's awesome when you start doing these combos one after another. Or you save up your Steam power by just doing basic attacks to like unleash some of your bigger attacks. But, you got to make a judgment call. It's like, oh, do I want to combo, do a bunch of damage and kill this guy, or combo and trigger this group heal, or combo and trigger this attack with that character.
Right.
So it's a lot of fun. It like makes a little rhythm to the game of playing the cards and the planning of like, okay, if I play this one first and then this one and this one, it's like, then I combo and I get the free action.
Have you ever read into the classic, one of my favorite things about the collective card game, is you have a great deck, but your rolls just suck and you're not really able to do much of anything?
Well, you can turf 2 cards per turn.
Okay.
So if you'll always have cards you can play.
Right.
So it's just a matter of like, oh, I need heals, but I don't have any heals. So you can turf 2 cards a turn. Right. And it'll redraw cards. Some cards will actually draw extra, depending on the cards.
Yeah,
some cards will
sure.
draw extra cards.
Draw this card and play this card, and you'll draw an extra card or whatever.
Yeah, stuff like that.
For sure.
And your cards just go back in the pile after you play them, right?
Right.
So it just keeps constantly recycling. And if your deck's quite tight, you're comboing nonstop. And
that's rad.
You're doing heals, or you're doing good buffs and taking very little damage while wrecking your enemies. And it's fun. It's got a cool rhythm to it. I really like it.
Yeah, that actually sounds a lot better.
And it has a fast forward button. If you hold down the shoulder button, it fast forwards everything.
Oh, nice. Fair enough.
So you can run faster. You can fast forward the battles if you just want to move on.
Get your shit done.
Yeah, it's a cool game. Sweet. I really like it.
Right on.
With that being said, Dane, I think we should get into our news and stuff. The news. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night unveils a June release date and a revamped art style.
This was kind of hilarious.
Did you watch this video?
The old and shit, or sorry, shit and poop. New, poop and new.
They called their own graphics poop. I don't know. I played it at E3 last year, and I thought it looked just fine. It seemed like it was missing a little layer of polish.
apparently somebody else did too.
I don't know. If they released what I played last year,
right?
I said last year I was already. I don't know. Some people have poo-pooed this because I guess they've had demos for Kickstarter backers.
Okay,
but I really liked it. It seems like a super polished like Symphony of the Night with like anime cutscenes and fully voice acted, which is like way beyond like any other Metroidvania that's ever existed. So I'm like, yeah, this is good. I'm on board. It's got, plays like a Metroidvania, looks like a Metroidvania. Oh, and it has awesome story moments that are like, seems like it has an awesome story with these cutscenes and voice acting. I'm all aboard. And then, this is funny. They released this trailer where they call their old graphics just straight up poop.
It's actually funny, like looking at some of it, certain things I get and certain things I agree with, where I'm like, oh yeah, that looks a lot better. But there's actually some of the stuff that I'm like, I kind of like the old one a little bit better. Anyways, it's all.
It's just got an extra pass of like detail or lighting or graphics for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part, I think it does. Look better, obviously, but
there's
still funny.
More textures and stuff.
That said, hey man, like 18th of June, that game's finally coming out. Switch version on the 25th, so that's cool.
The only thing I'm concerned about is that maybe the Switch version will run like poop, and that's the version I'm going to want to get because it's a freaking Castlevania game. Let's be honest, right?
Yeah. See, I'll probably either get it on the PC or PS4 or Xbox One. Hey, maybe it'll come out on Game Pass, and then I won't have to buy it on anything. It'll just show up on my Xbox One.
Yeah, I don't know about that. So yeah. You said June 18th and then 25th of June. That's awesome. Yeah. We knew it was a summer. They said that on that Nintendo. Was it a Nintendo Direct? I think it was a Nintendo Direct.
They did say summer, so.
Borderlands 3 has a cosmetic only microtransactions, but there's a little confusion with the fact that Randy was on Twitter or on the presentation saying there's no microtransactions, and then Game Informer's like,
I feel like we talked about this last week.
What's that?
I feel like we talked about this last week.
Did we? I don't.
I swear we did. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe it's just been the amount of people have been talking about it since last week or something, but.
I know last year we talked about Borderlands 3 coming out, but I don't know if we talked about this nonsense. Anyway, it has cosmetic-only microtransaction.
Yes, because he stood up in the video and he said they won't have any microtransactions or transaction-y free-to-play junk. But then he also said there will be all kinds of fun customizations like heads and skins.
I think it's more of the issue
and that they would be selling cosmetics. So ultimately, he said there's no microtransactions, but then he said there will be cosmetics. So, so players will have the option to purchase certain cosmetic items like character, vehicle, and weapon skins, but none of these purchases would be considered pay to win or impacting on the gameplay, like weapons or actual gear.
So he miscommunicated, and instead of apologizing, he freaking went on a Twitter tirade.
I feel like that's the part that we kind of like. It's like he takes one step forward and then two steps back. They really just need to somebody just. I mean, no, I know we talked about this last week because we talked about the publisher, somebody stepping in and saying "Hey, Randy,
let's get rid of him.
Maybe you need to not speak in front of people anymore." But yeah, because he went after Game Informer so hard about this, even to the point where he actually asked Game Informer why they were trying to fuck him on this. And I quote,
exactly cool behavior by a CEO.
It went on this giant Twitter thing. I honestly thought it was kind of hilarious. And in the end, it all ended amicably, and he was, saying whatever.
You should have freaking apologized and said, "Hey, I misspoke." My conception of microtransactions is loot boxes, and we don't have those.
Loot boxes or pay to win, which but I feel like anybody else in the industry, us included, when somebody says microtransactions, I think of, can I spend real money inside your game, or is there a tab inside your game that I click that then takes me to a store where I can purchase things inside your game with real money? That to me is a microtransaction.
Yeah.
If your game has that, then it has microtransactions, which his game does. So yeah.
You could, yeah. So you could have just been like, whoops, sorry, I misspoke. This is what I meant.
They also have said there will be tons of cosmetic drops as free loot in Borderlands 3. So there you go.
And just to make things even better, after that presentation, everyone noticed, they're like, Claptrap sounds different. The original voice actor, we knew he'd changed because I've met David Eddings several times at PAX. We've chatted with him. We hung out and chatted with Mikey Newman, right? The old Borderlands 2 writer at PAX.
Yeah.
And he's left a long time ago too.
We ate his pizza.
That's right.
Yeah.
Anyway, David Eddings left. We all knew this. I knew this. I'm like, oh, it's obvious why he didn't he jumped on all this Randy drama like last year about the USB and all that nonsense and crap that he was getting into about stealing money and money being stolen from him and a big public breakup with his ex-lawyer and just a bunch of nonsense. It just shouldn't be in the limelight. So,
we're talking about Randy Pitchford here, right?
Yeah, Randy Pitchford. So David Eddings is like, I guess people like approach him and they're like, hey, you're not in the game. And he's like, yeah, I don't work there anymore. And I offered to do it if they'd pay me back royalties. And, all of a sudden they couldn't afford me. And it's like, okay, well, whatever.
Right.
And then Randy went on, I guess, and said some stuff about how they paid him quite well and this and that. And then David was like, okay, yeah, that's enough. And he just like tore a new one in Randy and was like, yeah, this and that. And basically, he was like, oh, it's funny that, mention anything about the $12 million that he siphoned away from the royalty pool. And then he goes on and says that he was like assaulted by Randy at a GDC. And it's just getting really ugly.
Yeah.
Real fast.
I feel like this is one of those situations where when there's smoke, there's fire when it comes to Randy Pitchford at this point. This isn't like a one-off. This is one of multiple people that have worked for him either in the past or currently that are under some weird litigation or have things to say. Yeah, because it sounds like there's currently ongoing lawsuit with David Eddings. It sounds like
no, there's no lawsuit with him.
2K says they won't give a statement regarding an ongoing lawsuit.
Yeah, that's the lawsuit about the $12 million.
About the $12 million. Yeah. So yeah, the whole thing. It sounds like is, I don't know. It's just this is starting to. There's too many people at this point that are coming out of there. I just wonder how long till other people
just need to hide Randy and
like
have
Mikey and some of these other people that we knew that used to work there.
Delete Randy's Twitter account and just keep him off the social media. Like seriously.
But honestly, when he's the guy that owns the company, what are you going to do, right?
Yeah, I think that's the only reason. Like we talked about it we did talk about it last week. It's like, yeah, I don't think they have a board. I think he straight up just owns the company. I don't know where Take-Two might draw the line at some point and be like, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure they don't want to get rid of Borderlands because that's going to be a big cash cow. But at some point, someone's got to be like, look, we've got enough of your name coming up over and over and over again.
What has to happen ultimately is people need to start saying they don't want to work with Gearbox, right? That's what it comes down to. With Randy at the helm, people, until it starts costing them money.
Oh, because it sucks.
But the thing is I mean, I don't know the business structure of Gearbox, but my understanding is that Randy is the owner of said company, right? I don't know if they have a board. I don't know if there's other people, you know what I mean? I don't know any of that. But assuming that there isn't anything like that, then ultimately Randy is just the owner of
do whatever
company.
he wants.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
So until there's either a lawsuit or something, and everybody says like "fuck this, I'm out,"
it's not really much. You work there, you're busting your balls. I think Borderlands 3 is going to be great. And let's be honest, Randy probably has very little impact on the quality of that game. Because he's at the top. He's not in the trenches getting his hands dirty. He yay and nays maybe major like plot points of the story or mechanics or this and that. But he ain't doing any dev work, right? Like, let's be honest, right? He's just the honcho at the top who takes all the money. So all these hard people work all day long, and then it's like, God damn it. There's another story about Randy and squirting underage girls, or this nonsense about stealing money from the company, and that's rad, because I remember I really was counting on that, employee bonus that year, and we only got half. And it's like, then you hear the story about your boss getting $12 million. It's got to not be really great for like morale around the company either. These nonsensical stories just over and over. Like, it's just been on fire here with this nonsense.
Yeah,
they just need to put him away. Just stop. Your Twitter off. Stop.
Yeah, but like I said, right, unless you've got a board or somebody that they can step in and say, like, look, we think you're bad for this company and you need to stop doing this. Outside of that, like, fucking, like,
I've met Randy a couple times at PAX.
Yeah.
And he seems totally nice and like a decent person. Like, he never came off like an asshole. But like, all these stories make him seem like he's like the worst person.
Here's the thing.
So it's
that
weird,
I will say, as somebody who's known enough abusers in his life, those people always seem fine, especially out in public.
Yeah,
those people weird. Seem great. Like, I don't know how many times I've heard other people say, like, oh man, I couldn't believe that person would do that. Like, they just seem so nice in public, and that is like that's
he was
classic.
The nicest guy. He seemed like the sweetest
so nice.
guy.
And like, their family, they seem to have it so together, and blah blah. You know what? And that's the thing, right? When everybody's looking, I don't know. Like, again, I don't know Randy. I've met him once or twice, like in passing. I don't know him by any means, but like from what I've seen of him on Twitter and in front of audiences and things like that, this guy is a bit of a creep vibe, like, starts fucking ringing in the back of my brain. And it just, I don't know. They're just, every time I've met him, he, like, again, it always comes across very nice, but in the back of my mind, and especially now that I'm hearing about all this other stuff.
Well, yeah, now that you see all this stuff, it's like, ugh.
This is the vibe that I always kind of had deep down. But
who knows?
Of
maybe
course, like,
totally,
it was. I always thought it was just a feeling. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's just a feeling. But now I'm seeing all these people coming out and going like, oh, okay, my feeling, good to know that my gut still seems like it's on track. And this is,
it'll be interesting to see the results of that lawsuit and whether a lot of this stuff is true or not, or what's going to happen. For the better of the company and everyone that works there, just Randy, take a break from social media, please.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, I've only met, like I said, I met him a couple times, and I thought he was fine. Like,
and now we know how most of Americans have felt over the last like several years with their president. So,
oh god, yeah, pretty much. Riot, moving along. Riot walkout sees over 150 employees protest forced arbitration
and systemic sexism.
Systemic sexism. Yeah, I think we talked about it months ago. That was it the CEO who's on leave right now?
No, not the CEO. It was one of the VPs. I don't remember which one.
But he's not fired. He's still like on leave, right?
Yeah, no, he like. Oh man, he was like
it was a very
putting his balls on people and smacking people and all kind like super inappropriate shit.
Super college brosif type culture, like like you said, smacking guys in the balls. That's funny, or farting on people.
Yeah,
like just totally inappropriate shit, like stuff from like high school. I wouldn't even say college, like high school behavior.
Totally,
and it was quite prevalent with some of the top men in the company, let alone like sexual.
Well, yeah, one of them got essentially suspended.
Assault.
But that's the thing, is they've been suspended with pay for months now.
People are not happy with that.
Like, So, yeah.
So as an employee of Riot, they have a clause in their contract which is forced arbitration. And this is... So, say Dane's my boss, and I work at Riot, and Dane grabs my butt every day, and I don't like it. That's sexual assault in any other workplace. Dane would probably get in a lot of crap with HR. Best case scenario, he's probably fired, and I still have my job, right?
Yeah.
In a normal circumstance. And there's probably a lawsuit, and
Worst
I might
case scenario, I get arrested if it goes that far, and you still keep your job.
Yeah, and I'll probably get like some kind of like damages or like time off and damages, for, mental stress and anguish. And I've been sexually assaulted at work, but I would still have my job and the bad person would get punished.
Yeah.
Well, at Riot, they have behind closed doors arbitration where it's basically you can't sue them. An arbitrator decides what's going to
call the cops on them.
Yeah.
So it's literally you go behind closed doors and you have a little sit down and the company says, we're going to do this. And this is pretty much all you have to do.
So yes, Dane grabbed your butt, but it was a joke. So you shouldn't be that upset about it. So what we're going to do is we're going to allow you to keep your job still. Dane is still your boss. He probably won't interact with you anymore just to keep things kosher. But you can't sue us and we're not firing you for complaining about Dane grabbing your butt.
But we might fire you down the road for something.
No, but we don't say that out loud. That's
of
just
course
in our heads.
Right? That's
and Dane
in our head, totally.
Yeah, so it's like just scary like environment for like, and that they had a lot of crap go down at Riot. There's been tons of stories about sexism and all this stuff going on there. So anyway, this is good. They're having a walkout. That company needs like, I don't care if you're the biggest MOBA company or like super successful. You can't do bullshit like this. Like F off. Like work is work. People want to come to work. They want to enjoy work. They don't want to be scared when they come to work. Like that's so. Looks like they're going to be getting rid of it. Some people are still upset that there are outstanding things in arbitration, and they want those to be settled properly. So that's part of this walkout as well.
I mean, I think it's great. I mean, it's, if anything, it's sort of showing like what the industry can do when they band together, right?
Yeah, so they should all band together and get unionized now too.
Maybe it wouldn't be a terrible idea. But again, I'm not in that. That's not for me to say.
Moving along, Apex Legends is sliding its way onto mobile. I did not see this coming. I did not think Apex Legends.
I feel like you cannot have a battle royale game and not put it out on mobile these days.
It's coming to mobile devices.
Yeah,
and China apparently.
Because this is what made Fortnite blow up. When they put that shit on the iPhone and they put that on
PUBG.
mobile, that's when it went. It took off like wildfire. That's
PUBG's
when it was
huge on mobile as well.
Yeah, like massive.
For some reason, I just didn't feel like it was.
Hey, I don't think any of these games are great on mobile, but the fact that like literally hundreds of millions of people are playing them on mobile,
because I know
says
PUBG
otherwise.
And Fortnite are both Epic, so obviously that engine supports like. Oh, that's kind of cool. I haven't played that game in months or a month. Like it hasn't been. I think it's barely been out for months.
February, so March, April into May. So yeah, it's been out for a few months now.
That's kind of cool. I probably will not play it on mobile.
I definitely won't.
I don't think I've even tried.
Unless it's got controller support, then maybe.
I haven't even tried Fortnite on mobile. I don't even have it on my phone.
No. I don't want to build, but just to me, it doesn't seem like the right way to play those games.
I thought this was a cool story from Kotaku. Our friend Jason Schreier. U.S. Senator introduces a bill to ban loot boxes and pay-to-win microtransactions.
I've said it before, and I think this is a terrible idea.
I know you're against the government getting involved.
I am all about fucking this kind of bullshit being knocked the fuck off. But I think that the worst thing that can happen is having the government, especially the U.S. government, try and step in and regulate that shit. Because here's what happens. They put into place regulation now. 10 years from now, the industry is completely changed. Games are completely different. Everything is different. And yet now this thing that they've put into place 10 years ago, 15 years ago, or whatever, is going to affect shit forever. And it's not going to change, because now you're going to have to get a whole nother vote if things like... This is how, we have these weird ass laws that, like, it just, I just see it as video games are super nuanced. There's like a ton of different things about them. Is this just going to be based purely on ratings? Is this going to mean that if you're over the age of 18, you have to put a credit card into a game now to confirm that you're over 18? Like how is this going to get enforced? There's so many weird loopholes and so much shit about this that the government is like straight up the last person you want dealing with this. That said, the industry themselves couldn't get their shit together, so I understand why this is happening. That's why we're here. But even the bill, the Protecting Children from Abusive Games Act, is...
You gotta protect me, Dane.
What the fuck?
I'm all for... I wanted the industry to freaking shape themselves up with this.
That's the thing.
I seems like they have, but not in the mobile market space. In the console marketplace, it seems like they have kind of learned their lesson. There hasn't been a lot of complaints lately that are totally terrible, and they've dialed stuff back, but it's you guys effed up so bad that... Yeah.
It's so bad.
I hear you. You don't want the government to regulate anything, and you want the industry.
That's not necessarily true. I think when it comes to certain things, they absolutely need to, because, like I've said, companies, people. I don't know. I do not believe for a minute that companies have shown in the past that they give a fuck about anybody besides themselves, and all they care about is making more money for their shareholders and for whatever. They cannot be trusted to without regulation, all kinds of shit happens. So don't get me wrong. I think there's lots of things that should be regulated by the government. That said, I don't think that this particular thing... I feel like the government, especially the U.S. government, has shown in the past they don't fucking understand video games. They don't get video games. So why the hell would we get them to regulate it? But, again, like I said, I understand why this is happening, because the industry is full of greedy assholes and they can't fucking regulate themselves. So, and I mean... This isn't the government saying that they have regulated it. All this is saying that somebody is going to introduce a bill. It's, it still has to be voted in, and still has to be actually become law, and so on and so forth.
Basically, Senator Josh was like, if I don't see a big fat envelope on my desk by next Monday, this bill is going through.
Yeah. So this is a long way from it being a law or anything like that. I think that the ESA and they released a statement about this. They're sort of the video game lobbyist group that got created back when they were going to regulate video games, and the first time around, which was the violence.
They created the rating system.
Yep, exactly. And it's an industry. They're all the different publishers and such are members of it, so on and so forth. They sent over
self-regulation for ratings.
Pretty much. They sent over a statement shortly after this bill was introduced, and they said, and I quote, "Numerous countries, including Ireland, Germany, Sweden, Denmark, Australia, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom, determined that loot boxes do not constitute gambling. We look forward to sharing with the Senator the tools and information the industry already provides that keeps the control of in-game spending in parents' hands. Parents already have the ability to limit or prohibit in-game purchases with easy-to-use parental controls."
I don't know if I would agree with that, but sure.
And I think that I think it's a weak statement. I think that that's a very that reminds me very much of the tobacco industry back in the day. Like, we have all of these studies saying that tobacco is actually good for you, and look at all of these other countries saying that it's fine. So we look forward to getting together and telling you what we think that you should already know. Yeah, because clearly...
Fat brown envelope.
Because clearly parents... getting $100 and things like that on their credit cards and whatnot. Like,
I play these games. I've never seen any parental controls anywhere.
Well, it's on the device itself. Never mind. Like, it would be on the App Store.
I've never played with those either. Or like, you just load the game and it's like, here, take.
I never have
take
needed
all
to,
your money button right here. Here's the take all your money button.
Totally.
Nothing.
Oh, buy all these gems right now. And I love that one of the first things that all these games do. What is the first thing they teach you?
They teach you how to use the most expensive currency in the game.
They're like, oh, by the way,
here's the free one.
This is how you build a base. Oh, you want to build things faster? Use gems. Here, use this little gem.
Here's your first
speed it up. There you go.
It's free.
You have 50 of those. You're like, oh, cool. I'm just gonna get more of those. Which you think
gems.
you
How do I get more?
Exactly.
How do I get more? Oh, just $5.99. Click.
Yeah. So, anyways. So that'll be a story that will be very interesting to watch moving forward, because either one of two things is going to happen. Either the industry is going to have a fucking wake-up call and they are going to figure their shit out quick, and this is going to go nowhere, or the government is in fact going to step in, probably fuck it all up, but nonetheless they're going to step in regardless.
Yeah.
And they're going to have no choice, and that'll be some pretty drastic changes. So yes, like I said, will be very interesting to see what happens down the road with this.
Moving along, Kind of Funny announced their game showcase at E3. I think it's similar to their indie game showcase they had a couple months ago.
Yeah, this is pretty cool.
At the Game Awards.
Look at them.
June 10th, 4:30 p.m.
Live stream
on YouTube.
Yeah.
Their 2018 showcase featured over 60 titles. And this is going to be something similar. I believe it'll be like indie games and whatnot. So
yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
Their indie showcase is quite sweet. It'll be neat that they're going to do another one. Speaking of E3, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. Nintendo announced their Direct for June 11th in the morning as normal before the show starts. So
right.
And basically the focus is going to be games for the Switch for 2019, apparently. So that's about it.
I would hope they're focusing on the Switch.
Yeah, so
about time.
And games coming in 2019, so that will be cool.
Yeah.
Today, Ghost Recon or Ubisoft had a live stream. They teased a new Ghost Recon announcement. It's a whole new game, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, announced for PS4, Xbox One, and PC, and will launch October 4th.
Wow.
It's kind of like the Wildlands formula, but
that's kind of what it looks like.
They've added a bunch of like kind of survival aspects to it a little bit, in that your guys can get damaged and they get slowed down, like limping when they're hurt. It's a pretty cool presentation. The game looks awesome. It said in big letters, alpha gameplay. Mm-hmm. So yeah. I wonder if the game will actually look like that when it comes out, because it looked really good.
Wouldn't surprise me if it looks that good, maybe even a little better. I don't know how old the build is that they're showing off and the gameplay stuff. I mean,
it's definitely that Wildlands formula, but lots of drones and like high tech. Mm-hmm. Big bad enemy is John Barenthal, or the Punisher.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
There's a reveal at the end of the trailer. So there's a trailer. They have a gameplay demo. You can find all this stuff online. They announced all their crazy versions of the game, of course, like 60 versions of the game.
I won't lie, that last Ghost Recon Wildlands was so big. I've dropped like 46 hours or something like that last I checked into that game, and I don't even know if I'm halfway through that game. Like, it's fucking big.
It is a big game. Me and
Teacup, I know you and Teacup went through, and like you kind of got together and like just. I think at one point you just said like you pretty much had to like mainline the story and just get it done.
That's exactly it. We were like, this game is so goddamn big,
and that's the problem that I'm running into is like I'm, of course, like there's so many icons. I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna go over here and get this, and I want that, and like here I am now, like I said, like 45 hours later, and it's just like, oh my gosh, I have all these dudes to kill still. Like I'm nowhere near finishing this game.
I don't remember my game clock on that one, but I might have the show notes, and in the link there's the announced trailer and the gameplay walkthrough. So yeah, I think it looks cool. I really liked Wildlands. Great. So it had its issues, especially at launch, but I feel like that game came out and it was just a ton of fun to play,
especially with other people.
It was a lot of fun. So I'm down
for
co-op
experience.
I'm down for a better version of Wildlands. This looks like a more refined version of that. A little more. Definitely, the tone seemed a lot more serious.
Yeah,
less of that cocaine and drug lord stuff.
I feel like this is probably like the perfect time to maybe give away some shit.
Giveaway time, everybody.
Peanut butter jelly time.
For Everybody's Golf on PS4.
So if you're looking to pick up Everybody's Golf on PS4, drum roll.
Password is baseball. Again, bit.ly/geekoholics200. You'll find a link for actually a link for all three of the packages that we're going to be giving away today. Click on the one you want, enter the password, follow the instructions, earn more entries, and then hopefully you'll have a copy of Everybody's Golf. So the password again is baseball.
Little play from a couple podcasts ago.
Yes. And then continuing Nintendo news, Tetris 99, Big Block DLC was announced today.
Tetris 99.
It includes offline CPU mode, marathon mode. It's $10. $10 bucks. I can't even speak. It's $10. It will include other modes, they said, that are coming as well.
Interesting.
So if you buy it, who knows what the other modes will be.
It's a one-time purchase, by the way.
Maybe offline, like multiplayer. So there's going to be added content to that purchase. But yeah, if you want to play it single player or like versus CPU, that's the immediate features that are unlocked.
Sweet.
And then they're having a tournament again between May 17th and the 19th, I believe. That's next weekend. Compete in battles, collect 100 points to unlock an in-game theme inspired by the original Game Boy. So it's like a Game Boy theme skin for the game.
Nice.
Which looks really cool. I saw the point breakdown somewhere, but it's not in this story. I think like a win is like 30 points. Or no, 100 points. Second place is like 50 points. Third is like 20, and then it goes like between something and something 10 and like a big gap. I don't know. It's not in this stupid story. But I saw it somewhere else. I think I saw it on Twitter. That's where I saw it. So yeah, like you don't have to win. It's not. Imagine if you're decent at Tetris and you play 10 games next weekend. At least you'll. If you're really bad, you'll get the skin. The skin looks really cool. So I might have to play some Tetris 99 next week.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because who doesn't love the Game Boy version of Tetris?
That is arguably the best one.
PlayStation news. PlayStation had their... Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. Before I get to that, EA Access is coming to PlayStation 4. So,
that it is.
Available on PC as Origin Premier. Is that what it's called?
They're a little different. So, because it's a lot cheaper for the console version.
you kind of get less than the PC version too, though, right?
Yeah, so EA Access will be $5 a month or $29.99. This is US dollars annually.
It's on
the same price as existing EA Access. That gives you access to more than 50 games as part of the vault. So whatever is essentially currently in the vault, you get access to. And then you get older and recent releases, etc., etc.
Early access.
You do get the early access stuff, but you don't get the stuff. So like,
yeah, the PC version is like you get all the EA stuff.
Yeah, pretty much the PC version is any new stuff as well.
Yeah, you get.
You
everything.
Also just get it. You get the digital full game edition. Whereas if you have EA access, you get a 10% discount on the digital full game purchase.
And you get like a 10-hour trial or something like that.
Yeah, that's
Early
their
access.
play first trial. Yeah,
that's not terrible. They got lots of good stuff in the vault.
Definitely. And I mean, especially because like it's so much cheaper than the one on PC. Like, you know, you can play there's lots of good stuff to play in there. Not all just EA as well. There's other stuff that's in there that's not EA. So
Sony had their State of Play event today, their second one. Which
that
is
they did. It was
a mini,
I don't even think it was 15 minutes. It was short.
Mini Nintendo Direct.
Very mini.
They started the show with the reveal of the Monster Hunter World DLC that's coming September 6th.
Monster Hunter World Iceborne.
It's not exclusive to PS4, but it was part of the stream. I believe it's coming to everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that looks cool. More Monster Hunter. We like Monster Hunter. We were just talking about it at the start
It's all
of the show.
snowy and like in winter and like it's pretty neat looking.
They teased a new game, a new IP at Predator Hunting Grounds. Didn't really show a lot. That it's
very brief.
It's coming
very
out
much
20.
teaser.
They announced who's making it. It's Ilphonic, working closely with Fox, and it's coming in 2020.
Yeah,
it had the iconic Predator music, so that's freaking cool.
It does sound like it's asymmetrical, so
it's probably
that's gonna be like
it's probably
1
like
versus 6 or something. Kind of an idea. I don't know exactly how many, but that's generally what that means. So one person's probably going to be the Predator.
Yeah. That seems like what it is. Yeah, they showed some more Medieval and announced a release date for October 25th.
That's gonna be rad.
I never cared for Medieval, so but the people who like it. So that's
I liked
awesome.
it. It was a good PS1 game. So
to nobody's surprise, they teased that they were going to show a game that they hadn't talked about in a while, and as many alluded, Final Fantasy VII Remake made an appearance. Looks pretty freaking rad.
Another appearance. Like this is like the biggest,
haven't showed this much footage though. Like they showed
such a circle jerk. It feels like they're just like a little bit. Here
it's
and
been
there.
a while because this was originally announced. They're shown at 2015 E3. The trailer is quite long, or a decent length. It shows a lot of stuff and looks pretty rad. And it says more in June, so I assume they will have more to say at E3, even though they're not at E3, because what else would they be doing in June?
It's just enough to keep you kind of.
I guess until I forget that's not a Sony exclusive. So Square is at E3, and Square has a keynote, so that's probably where we'll get more information on that.
We better fucking get more.
And if they show it in June after this showing, they better have an announced date.
I hope so. That or it'll be like coming 2020. I'll be like,
they showed a couple new like IPs. This game called Away. It's a survival game. Looks like you play like a little squirrel.
Yeah, well, at least the video they showed off, it's a sugar glider.
Oh, okay. Well, it looks like a squirrel.
Yeah, that's what a sugar glider is.
Like the flying squirrels.
Yeah, he's a sugar glider. And yeah, you're playing as like a sugar glider, and it sounds like you're trying to. There's like natural disasters. So in the video they're showing there's like some of the forest is on fire and you're trying to get away from it. Meanwhile, there's also things trying to eat you, like scorpions, predators, and animals, and other predators. But you're also trying to get food because you have to eat and stuff too. It almost, like, judging by the way they were talking about it, I'm almost wondering if you're playing just as a sugar glider or if you're playing as other animals as well.
They only showed that, but maybe...
Yeah.
I don't know. It looks kind of neat. I don't know if it's for me, but...
Yeah, I don't know either.
New IPs, it's new ideas, new game types. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, exactly.
They showed a cute little game called Riverbond. It's a voxel shoot and slash game. Looks like a 3/4 perspective kind of Zelda Link to the Past, but with like very stylized voxel type pixely graphics.
4-player co-op, which is kind of cool.
That is. Did it say a date?
I don't believe they gave a date. There's also a ton of crossover skins. That was the other thing. There's like a Shovel Knight skin and Guacamelee skin. Yeah, it's like a ton of different skins.
Yeah, no, there isn't a date. Anyway, yeah, it looked kind of neat. And that was like your whole 10-minute presentation.
They're saying it's coming this summer. To the PlayStation Store.
So yeah, whatever. Like, people build them up to be like crazy. They set expectations. Said, hey, it's gonna be short. It's gonna be a couple things.
Like I said, I think it was less than 15 minutes. So
yeah. No, it was. Hey, I'm down for these.
Hey, worked for me. So I was happy to.
I think it was
tune
cool
in
to see some
briefly.
more Final Fantasy. I enjoyed the Final Fantasy segment. I'm not gonna lie.
I saw it and I was like, hell yeah, it's about dab time.
I guess we can get our free for all section.
Yeah,
we shot Shazam.
Shazam.
When I was in Vancouver, we went and saw Shazam. Really wanted to see Endgame again, and Dane's like, let's watch something new.
Yeah, man. And I'm glad we did.
Fun.
I'm glad we did.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot more fun than it had any right to be.
The DC movies might be getting on track by copying the Marvel magic.
Little more lighthearted.
Oh, it was like a full superhero comedy.
That was great. I thought they did a really good job. I really enjoyed it.
The kids were good in it. What's the main actor's name who plays Shazam?
Oh, sure. Put me on the spot like that. I can never remember that dude's name.
He's in lots of stuff, though.
I know. And I can never remember his name and all the other crap that he's in. All right, hold on. I'm looking. Shazam.
Why isn't it like the
Zachary
first?
Levi?
I wanted to say that, but I'm like, I didn't. For some reason, I was thinking of the guy from Scrubs.
Nope. That's the other Zachary?
Is he a Zachary?
I don't know. Anyways, off track.
Yeah, it was fun.
I thought it was really good. It was. I thought it was like they kept it in the same unit. I thought they did a good job of keeping it as in the same universe as the Batman and the Superman movies and stuff.
Zach Braff, not a Zachary at all.
They're both Zachs. What the fuck are you talking about?
I guess Zachary and Zach.
They're both Zach is just short for Zachary. Come on.
Yeah, I guess.
Jeez. No, I really liked it though. I thought they did a really good job. It was fun. It was funny. It's definitely that whole thing of like, what would a kid do if they were a superhero?
Yeah.
You know, like,
just or how would they act?
Yeah, totally. Or... like, you know, like they're gonna be kind of juvenile about it, and they're probably gonna be, you know, innocent fun, but at the same time, like, you know, maybe need a little bit of like, hey, what are you doing? You can't do that. No, I thought it was really good. Or
that the hero wasn't a hero and didn't know anything about superheroes, so he didn't know how to be a hero.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's like everyone in superhero movies like knows how to be a superhero.
At least that's the way it seems, anyways. Yeah,
there's no learning period. It's like, I'm just a superhero and I'm awesome at it right away.
Totally, yeah. Yeah, I definitely thought it was pretty great to watch. You know, like he's asking like his buddy, you know, like, hey, how the hell do I superhero? Like, you're the comic book nerd. What do I do? Like, how does this work? Like, I thought that was pretty good. Yeah, no, it had a lot of like genuine laugh out loud moments.
Oh God, yeah. I definitely laughed out loud a bunch.
Yeah, no, I really liked it. Like I said,
a really good post credit scene.
Yes, super good.
Yes, it's super good.
Yeah. No, I think they did a really good job. I hope. I I hope that if that's the type of movies that DC is gonna like start making, that I hope we get more of them.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is the direction they're headed, is more lighthearted.
Yeah, like
though DC is a darker, DC's darker, period, right?
Well, especially if you're like reading comics or we're talking about comic books,
and they're violent. They're more violent than the Marvel stuff. Always have been.
In the last probably 20 years, definitely.
Like even the cartoons, the cartoons are violent.
Most cartoons are violent, though.
But the DC ones have blood and stuff. Like, wow.
That's the specific animated movies, though.
Yeah.
That's overall, it gives me. I mean, I thought that Aquaman also was very much if this is where kind of these movies are going, that I think that's a good direction.
No, absolutely.
So this being the second one to come out after Aquaman.
I
really
liked Aquaman too. Are you really versed in DC stuff?
I currently subscribe to a DC comic,
so
it's on my pull list.
There was a talk of Black Adam, right?
Yep. And
that was supposed to be what, The Rock?
There was talk that The Rock was going to play Black Adam. Yep.
But Black Adam's a villain, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but Black Adam is related to Shazam, isn't it?
He's one of the bad guys in that universe, if you will.
That's where he's from. Okay, that's what I thought, because I'm I was expecting there to be a tease or something about that character for the sequels or future stuff, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, no, I think I thought that he had officially signed on as Black Adam or something.
Yeah, I heard about it a long time ago. I have no idea.
Yeah, I thought there was. I'm glad that they did it the way that they did it, to sort of introduce the character and explain a bit of the backstory and so on and so forth before diving into Black Adam. I think that was smart. I liked it. I thought it was a good superhero sort of origin story, if you will.
Yeah, it was.
So
it was fun. Go see it.
Yeah, I won't lie. When they announced that they were going to do a Shazam movie, I was like, "Really?" I would have never. Out of all the properties,
exactly. I would have never thought that I would have been sitting here today saying I really like the Shazam movie.
You don't have a Flash movie out yet. You haven't remade a proper. I mean, I'm going to say you haven't remade made a proper Green Lantern movie yet.
You haven't made an awesome Superman movie.
I disagree with that. I actually really liked the last Superman movie. The standalone Superman movie was, I thought it was fucking rad.
I said an awesome Superman movie.
But I think that being said, I think some of the challenges outside of Batman with some of the DC stuff is these characters are so much more powerful than sort of the Marvel stuff is. There's certain people in the Marvel universe that are incredibly powerful, but on the DC side of stuff, it's you've got huge cosmic beings. We were kind of talking after the movie, and I was saying Shazam is one of the he can take on Superman, because he's a magical being, and he's not affected by essentially Superman being a Kryptonian and all that kind of stuff. So there's but that being said, Superman is incredibly powerful. How do you sort of build villains and stuff like that to not seem lame, if that makes sense? It's hard to put, I think, Superman in a situation in a live action movie where he sort of seems like he's actually in danger, because he's so strong and so fast and so everything at this point. It's just how do you make him vulnerable? So you generally don't. You generally make the people around him vulnerable and make him choose, and so on and so forth, right?
Yeah.
Which was one of the things that I actually kind of didn't mind about the last Superman movie that they made, because that was one of the few times where Superman feels like he's going toe-to-toe with himself, because he more or less is, right? And you're actually seeing sort of just how powerful he is, which I thought was great. I mean, it had some issues, you know, and obviously like him destroying an entire city and not seemingly caring in the moment that he was doing it, that was, you know, rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. But when you look at like the Marvel movies and stuff, like Wolverine, he's very much a dude that happens to have a more or less indestructible skeleton and a really awesome healing factor. But like, put him up against Superman, and what's Superman gonna do? He's gonna like fucking throw him into the sun, and that's gonna be the end of the fight. You know what I mean, right? Like it's there's such a vast like chasm of like power there. So like, I want to see more of like the
Could
DC
Superman
stuff.
tear Wolverine in half?
Sure, why not? He just uses laser eyes and fucking cut him in half, and throw one half into the sun and one half into, I don't know, wherever.
Well, like, if he cut him in half, would he like die? Like, would Wolverine die if he gets? Does he die if he gets so much damage? Like, he dies in Logan. Spoiler alert. But that's because he's old and because his powers have been weakened by something, right?
It's a whole it's technically a different like universe as well, and yes, his like
that's like a story.
He gets like a virus that more or less like stops his mutation from like working pretty much, and that's so because his mutation is actually what keeps him alive. His body rejects the adamantium, and then like essentially he gets like sick, and it's a whole thing.
And that's just because of that storyline they kind of created.
Yeah, right? That's the Old Man Logan storyline from the comic books. But in the actual like regular comics, if you will, he has been vaporized down to a very small amount. And he has managed to regenerate from that.
So, like, he regenerates limbs and shit?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not too familiar. I know Wolverine, but I don't know Wolverine.
Yeah. No, it's like anything, right? It's a fucking comic book. So, like,
of course,
you know, they can cut his head off and throw him in, you know, and whatever. And like, of course, they're going to be able to write in that he somehow regenerates back and this and that and the other thing. Like, they always manage to write themselves out of it or whatever. But yeah, him and Deadpool they've both been virtually vaporized and managed to regenerate themselves back. So, but yes, Logan's had arms cut off, legs cut off. He's been like sliced in half, I think. I'm trying to remember if he's had his head fully cut off or not. But yeah, he's been pretty messed up and come back from it.
It's like, yeah, his skeleton's super strong, but it's still just a skeleton. It's got gaps in it, right?
Yep.
Anyway.
Yep. So yeah, but like you know what I'm getting at.
Oh yeah,
right? It is like that. You know, you've got a ton of characters like that in the Marvel movies and in the Marvel universe, but then you do have a couple obviously big, really strong characters as well. Whereas like in the DC universe, so many of those characters are on a power level, maybe not at the same as Superman, but at least kind of close to Superman.
There's a lot more gods in the DC stuff, right?
Right. Well, they both have their gods, but that's neither here nor there. They both literally have the gods in them and stuff, right? But yeah, I think that, like I said, if I would have thought that would have been the movie that they would have came out with, I would have been like, are you crazy? Like, there's so many other characters that people actually know that are, like, you're going to make a Shazam movie? And yet, here we are.
When I heard about it like a couple of years ago, I'm like, what? Shazam? Yeah. I know him because we used to play the DC card game.
Right.
Like, I own the DC card game. It's actually quite fun. It's a deck building game.
Yeah.
And we would play it at my house quite a bit in the past. Mm-hmm. And there were several Shazam cards. So
right.
I knew him from the cards, but I've never read any of his stuff. And then I'm like, who is this guy? And then my buddy Ryan's like, he's basically like a Superman, but he's magic.
Yep, pretty much.
But he's just as powerful as Superman. And I'm like, okay, so this guy apparently kicks major ass.
Yep. But it's kind of funny too because he has like these weird limitations where, you know, he's essentially a child too, right? And his thought process is like a child, even though he's when he says Shazam and becomes the superhero, essentially, right? Like,
yeah.
He doesn't look like a kid, but mentally and stuff, like he's still.
Yeah, forget it. It's the same person. He just
right.
looks different.
Exactly.
He's in Superman cosplay.
Pretty much, with all the fixins. But it's, again, I thought I really enjoyed it. I'm glad we saw it.
Go check it out.
Yeah.
It's going to be out of theaters soon if it isn't already.
Yeah, I was actually surprised when I went to see. I was thinking, like, I don't know, maybe Hellboy was in the theater or something else, and then there was Shazam. I was like, oh shit, yeah, we should check that out. So it worked out really well.
I'm going to say we have an episode 203 in the gigabits and in your ear holes.
Should we maybe give away our last giveaway before we get into that?
Before we do our little
save our best for last.
Oh yeah, that's right. So if you would like to enter for Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition, the password is Robot Dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So bit.ly/Geekoholics200 is the webpage with all the contest details, how to enter, and a link to enter for all the different games. And of course, enter the password Robot Dinosaurs on the widget, and then you can do all the extra entry stuff and whatnot. And yeah, congrats to all the winners this week.
Yay! Thanks for listening.
Next week we'll pick the winners for that. You can follow me on Twitter at RickF, no KRICF.
Come hang with me on Twitter at Dane Cody. That's at DAYNECODY.
Join our Discord server. Join the conversation. Have a lot of fun there. bit.ly/Gap Discord. Just punch that into any browser. You can do it on mobile. Do it on your computer. If you've never heard of Discord, they have an app. iPhone, iOS. That's primarily the way I interact on Discord is through the app on my smartphone. It's amazing. You can do voice chat. You can do text chat. You can post stupid GIFs.
Yeah.
Namely, you can have fun and screw around with us all day long because that's pretty much all we do. Well, we do
working and stuff.
Yeah. But, no, we're working. We don't screw around on Discord at all.
No, not at all.
And then, of course, follow, subscribe.
Tell your friends.
YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We're Geekoholics at all the social medias. And of course, if you have an iTunes or Apple device, rate us on iTunes or the Apple Podcast app. That would be fantastic. That helps us grow and pop up in the logarithms for podcast recommendation engines. I don't know if these things exist. I'm just making it up, but
I'm sure they do.
I know Apple Podcast likes equate to shows growing. So if you have the ability to do that, that'd be fantastic. That's all we ask.
It also helps us get into stuff to get you more content.
Yeah, of course. So and get awesome prizes for these contests that we did all month long. So,
because then all the companies are like, hey, look at all these people thought that they're pretty cool, so they must be cool. So they help us out.
Except for Astro. They don't think we're cool.
Yeah, apparently Microsoft either.
Whoa, that might be my fault.
Oh, okay.
No, they think I'm cool. They invited me to E3 press conference. So
all right,
I got my press conference invite. They just managed to not get back to me about giving us stuff for our contest. But hey, whatever. They're probably busy.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Astro, on the other hand, those guys are just jerks.
Yeah, they don't like us.
Yeah,
that's super inside baseball.
If you were on the Discord, you'd know all about it.
Until next week, I'm going to say we're out.
I'm going to go chat on the Discord.
I'm going to go try and finish Days Gone.
Good luck.
Peace.